And it is necessary for those people who rule over us and who rule over African people the world over, if those people are to stay in power, they must destroy our ability to love each other in a healthy sort of way. This is why...
Thank you for tapping in. It's your man, Brian HRap B. Williams, Internet Bench Media. Thank you for tapping in again. Just a few minutes with HRap right here, live on YouTube. Thank you for tapping in. Hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. I want to thank you for tapping in. This is a very important program. This is called, Is the Hood Really Dangerous? You know, we have a construct that the hood is insanely dangerous. That's the most dangerous place in the world. That's the young man that's waiting on you when you're in the hood. The hood is where a lot of us live. Working class people live, and that's what it's called, the hood. And they make it seem as if as soon as you show up, it's going to be a problem. And the question I have today, is it a problem? And before I get into that, you know what I do every week. I thank my parents, Dolores and John. Thank you to Dolores and John. Without you, it's no me. Without me, you'd be doing something with your valuable time. You'd be doing something else with your valuable time. So thank you. And hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in. You can also go to support the movement. You can also go to www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com right there. That's where the last 90 days of my work is. That's where you can catch me live, streaming live. That's where everything goes down outside of YouTube and outside of where you can get your normal streaming platform. I want you to do that because it helps me grow the platform. And you know my mantra, I'm here to uplift the community and make room for our grandchildren to have a better life than we ever imagined. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like and leave a comment. Comments, questions, concerns, engage with me. That's what we do here because it's about the conversation. It's not a dissertation, it's a conversation. And I want to have that conversation with us. Like I said, it's about the hood. The name of the program is A Few Minutes with HRap because a few minutes every week, I come on here and I disseminate my ideas and thoughts, and I want to have a conversation with my people. I want to have a conversation with my people about what's going on. The hood. Is the hood as dangerous as you heard? Is it this fortress of solitude, a fortress of ignorance? That's what it should be, a fortress. I mean, we should ask, is it this fortress of ignorance that it is uncontrolled violence and uncontrolled activity and people, it is just mass chaos and mass confusion at all times? Is that what we're witnessing? I would say no. The reason I would say no is we have to stop allowing people who are not from the hood and not in the hood and not of the hood to tell us what's going on inside of the hood. Is there violence in the hood? Of course it is. See, you have to ask yourself a question. Is there violence in the hood? What triggers the violence in the hood? Why is there violence in the hood? And once you understand that, then at that moment you'll realize, hey, the problem in the hood may not even be the people in the hood. It may not even be that. It may be something else. I'm not on here to tell you lies. I'm not on here to tell you falsehoods. I'm not on here to tell you, shoot you dreams and you go, oh man, see, that's what I'm talking about. What I am, I want you to start thinking, because we live in a capitalistic society, and the capitalistic society's design is to ensure that you, the person inside of the capitalism, does not think. It's not for you to capitalize. It does not mean I can capitalize on things and I can make money here and I can do this and I can do that and I can put myself in a better situation. It does not mean that. It is there to dumb you down, slow you down, and have you refuse to think. You are not supposed to think. See, because you're supposed to read the situation, read the room, and react. And that's why the hood is in such chaos, because by and large in the hood, there is no foundation. We don't do a whole lot of history research. We don't do a lot of engaging on what went on in the hood before you got here. If you're living in 2026 and you're looking at the hood, it is more than likely in dismay, because hoods have not been reinvested in. Because if you reinvest in something, if you're reinvesting and you enhance the education process, once you enhance the education process, you put yourself in a position to whereas you are lost. You are unable to catch up with things. And you're not living in a world in which living is the goal. We're surviving. I'm living to the weekend. I'm surviving to the weekend. Then I'm mentally and spiritually and physically dumb myself down with substances, with alcohol, and with other instances, whether it be chasing women, chasing men, chasing money, the bag. That's the thing. I got to get to the bag. And what exactly is getting to the bag getting you? Do you lower your standards to get to the bag? Do you allow things to happen that shouldn't be happening to get to said bag? Is this bag beneficial to you? What are we doing? What exactly are we doing with this bag that we all hear about, we all talk about, we all wish we could be a part of? Where is this bag that we so freely speak about? We don't have a problem chasing this bag, but at what cost? Everything has a cost. If you want to be a professional athlete, if you want to be a dancer, singer, some form of entertainer, if you want to be a scientist, you want to be an attorney, there's a cost. And I don't mean fiscal cost. There's a cost in your social life. Because guess what? You can't hang out the way you want to. You can't hang out with who you want to hang out with because it costs. It costs your spare time, your free time. It costs you a lot of things. If you want to be the best you can be, you can't hang out, you can't party, you can't dance, you can't do all the things that it takes to be super engaged with the world if you want to be the best you can be. And in the quote unquote hood, that's not there. That foundation is there. It's a survival mode. That's why people sell each other poison. That's why we drink poison in the hood. That's why there's an attack in the hood. But the question is it as dangerous as you think? Is the hood as dangerous as you think? And that's going to be the first thing we're going to do today. Is the hood as dangerous as they tell you it is? And most people say, of course the hood is dangerous. But is the hood dangerous or is the world dangerous? That's the question I have for you. Is the hood dangerous or is the world dangerous? Because if the world is dangerous, how's the hood different than the world? That's all I have to ask you. Is the hood dangerous or is that just the world? See, because when you're looking at said hood, oh man, it's a lot of abject violence in the hood. It is. But the last time I was watching the news, I saw Walmarts being shot up. I saw nightclubs being shot up. I saw affluent daycare centers being shot up. I saw affluent elementary schools being shot up. I saw affluent high schools being shot up. I saw suburban movie theaters being shot up. I saw people from other cultures that are traditionally not in the hood in movie theaters dressed up like the Joker, and they start shooting up the theaters. These things are not happening in the hood. Now, a little later, I'm gonna show you just how the hood is violent, but isn't as violent as you're being told. The hood is, it is some dangers in the hood, but is it as dangerous as you think? Now, when you are part of the urban community, or I'm just gonna say the black community, we use slang, we use African American vernacular, and it's called it. What I'm gonna use that now. It's called in the mix, and in the mix meaning gang activity, drug activity, and other nefarious feats that people participate in on a regular basis in the world, not just in the hood. See, because if the United States of America is comprised of 350 million people and only 13% of those people are participating in nefarious activity, you can't take that to the black community and say it hood and point to us and say it's our fault. Because that means everybody in the history of the hood will be participating in these drugs. If drugs is $1 trillion industry, that will make all 45 to 55 million people in the black community drug addicts. And that's just not the case. You can't tell me that I'm all drug addicts and then the rest of us are incarcerated, in house of restitution or in prisons. You're going to have to work with me. If black women are the most educated women in the United States of America, and black men are going to jail, and black children are participating in all these nefarious activities, who is going to college? HBCUs are filled. Last time I checked, Tennessee had to do a government meeting to find out why was so many people now attending Fisk and Tennessee State, and they had to get funding for those. Why is that? How is that happening if the hood is chaotic? Because it's not chaotic. Ask yourself this: if the hood is as dangerous as they tell you, this is what I want to ask you. This is the question I have for any and everybody who's watching this. Any and everybody. Hopefully, you telling a friend to tell a friend, and you are sharing this with people, because I want this question to be asked. I want this to be a TikTok trending topic. If the hood is as dangerous as it is, and as I stated, the mix is people who are participating in nefarious activities, whether it be drug dealing, gang banging, robbery, theft, or what have you. If the hood is as dangerous as you said, how many people that you know that are not participating in nefarious activity who are being accosted by people in the hood? Is your grandmother getting robbed? Our church is being robbed every week. Don't tell me the one instance, because guess what? Most people in the hood love shrimp. I'm allergic, but we can't go by my allergies because most people love shrimp. So we can't say people in the hood love shrimp because rap don't like shrimp or rap can't eat shrimp. But what we can do is look at it. Look around. How many people do you know? Chicago, 3 million people. Last time I checked, 35% of us, largest one group population in the city of Chicago, 35%. 35% of us are in the city of Chicago. There are over 10,000 gang members. You're talking about maybe about 450,000 people, and only 10,000 of them are participating in gang activities. And all those gang members are not black. Some of them are white. Some of them are Hispanic. Some of them are Asian. Some of them from all cultures throughout the United States of America. But when you hear gang, you automatically go black. That's it. No, but gangs are gangs. You have the Aryan Nation. A lot of us who are from the hood have people who have spent time in houses of restitutions, aka prisons. Fancy word to say prison, But and when you hear about it, you hear about the Aryan Nation fighting the Latinos, and the Latinos fighting the black, or Latinos separating themselves from the black. They got the Latin allegiance, and all the Latinos get together, and then you have gangs from both fractions in the black community, and they coming together, and then they're fighting all of these, having issues with the Aryan Nation. You don't believe it? Look up a comedian by the name of Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq became a world famous comedian because he had this special called The Mexicans Have on Boots. So if all these different people are in jail, how is it that we are identified as criminals? People in the hood. Why is the hood so dangerous? How many people do you know whose car has been stolen? How many people you know have been robbed at gunpoint? How many people do you know have been murdered? I grew up in two of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the United States of America. Two of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the United States of America: the west side of Chicago and Cabrini Green near north side. Now, Cabrini Green, if you don't know what Cabrini Green is in Chicago, that is the Good Times Projects. And you've heard of how dangerous and treacherous it can be. And I only know a few people who were outside of street activity or nefarious activities or bending, breaking, or fracturing the law that have been accosted, murdered, robbed, stolen from, or things of that nature. So why is it that that's attached to the hood? Because I know literally dozens and hundreds and potentially thousands of people, either by sight or by name. And I don't know a lot of people who has suffered the consequences of the hood. But the hood is so dangerous. How many people do you know whose home has been broken into living in the hood? You don't know many. How many people do you know who have been robbed at gunpoint in the hood? Not many. And I know people who participate in this, but if we're talking about 3 million people in the city of Chicago, why is it that the hood is always so dangerous? And later on in the podcast, I'm gonna show you how certain circumstances put the hood in the situation that it's in, and then we go with the narrative that's fed to us. Because if I hear Chicago is the most dangerous place in the world, then I see somebody get shot in Chicago, it immediately attached to us. When you hear violence in Chicago, you don't think, well, the people in Lincoln Park are doing that. You don't think that because you're not conditioned to think that. You're conditioned to think someone who looks like me, my son, my nephews, my nieces, cousins, uncles, aunts, and friends. That's what you're conditioned to think. And you don't even realize you're conditioned to think that way. It's marketing. It's propagandized news. It's information that is filtered to you to make you believe you're thinking. Just like the example I've given on several occasions about choice. I choose who I want to vote for. No, you do not. You were given Kamala Harris and you were given Donald Trump. Well, who you would vote for whoever you want to, Donald Trump or no? You gave me them. I want to vote for HRap. HRap be the best president we ever had. How many people who would vote for HRap? If any, not many. But the point is, you didn't choose. You were given options. Hey, just like this, you can eat wherever you want. We can go to Roadhouse or we can go to Ponderosa. Oh, I picked Roadhouse. It's better than Ponderosa. No, you didn't. I picked Roadhouse. I picked Roadhouse. Roadhouse or Ruth Chris. Of course, I'm gonna pick Ruth Chris. No, I picked Ruth Chris. I gave you Roadhouse or Ruth Chris. What if you want to go to Houston's? You see what I'm saying? That is the key to the world that we live in. We live in a world in which people believe that they're making choices, believe that they have options, and they really don't have options. And that's what capitalism makes you do. It makes you think you're thinking, but you're really not thinking. You are not thinking about anything. And that's why you think the hood is dangerous. And you've never really seen any abject violence, or a lot of it. We've rarely seen that. For example, you think Chicago, if you don't live in Illinois, even if you do live in Illinois and Cook County, you think Chicago is the most dangerous place in the world. But watch this. 5 years ago, 2021, when the world was shut down, wasn't no violence. Then you go back 5 more years, 2016, 2017, and guess what happened? You start hearing about 516, 520 people murdered. Oh my God, that's insane. But it's 3 million people in Chicago. Is it really insane? One person. See, and then you hear a piece like that and you'll go, well, one life is too much. Are you here to have a conversation or are you here to understand what a person is saying? Again, if you have a population of 3 million and 500 people get murdered, that's not insane. That's horrible because human life shouldn't be lost for a foolish reason. But it's not a lot of people, as they say, per capita. That's why the most dangerous city in Illinois for gun violence per capita, in accordance to population, is not Chicago, Illinois. It's Peoria, Illinois. And most people don't know that because Chicago's dangerous. Then you see on the news or you see on Facebook, you see on some form of social media and active violence, and you just draw the line. So then you go, the hood is doing this. But even the people in the hood, my mother has never been robbed. She lived in the hood 99% of her life. My aunt has never been robbed. She currently lives in the hood. My aunts currently live in the hood. They're elders at this point. They've gone from 75, 78 down to 65. That's my youngest aunt. And none of them have ever been robbed. I don't know any of my relatives that have been robbed. And guess what? Actually, I had a relative be put in the trunk of a car because our apartment's being robbed. But that was literally 40 years ago. Nothing since. And I'm not, again, is there nefarious activity in a position in a place in which people are put in abject in a mind state of desperation? See, don't put someone in a survival mode and then ask them to think clearly and make cognitive thoughts that will benefit them in the future. That's not fair to humanity. That's not fair to the people. And that's definitely not fair to the people in the hood. So are there dangerous aspects of the hood? Of course. As I said 2 minutes ago, there's also dangerous aspects to go to Walmart. Remember, people have shot up Walmarts 3 times in the last 5 to 8 years. They shot up 2 daycare centers twice in the last 10 years. They shot up several high schools in the last, and none of those places were in the hood. So I ask you the question again: is it the hood dangerous, or is the America dangerous? America has had more gun violence in the last 5 years than Canada had in the last 60, than Australia had in the last 100. So is it America, or is it the hood? And why is it that people are so comfortable drawing a straight line to danger in the hood, aka black people? All black people are not dangerous, nefarious, or participate in things that are destruction minded. But that is in accordance to the narrative that's being spun And you get people to find the statistics and then they go along with it. I'm gonna show you some statistics. I'm gonna show you some statistics that make Chicago look insane and make my people look insane. But my people or Chicago isn't as dangerous as they are put in the place to be. But we have to, and we always should look into why these things exist, why these narratives are being spun. Why are they being spun? And the next question is, how did the hood get so dangerous? See, the hood got dangerous when people who look like you and I, most of us, shout out to the people overseas, shout out to people in Sweden, shout out to people in Canada, shout out to people in Mexico, shout out to people in Jamaica, the new people in Jamaica who recently subscribed. Shout out to all of y'all. Thank you for participating. And hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend, comment, leave a statement, and then we can have a discourse. But back to the point. How did the hood become so dangerous? Because we live in a capitalistic society that is laced in and woven into, and racism is laced in, capitalism is woven into, and white nationalism, I don't call it supremacy because nobody's supreme to me besides the creator of the world, God, Allah, Jehovah, Jireh, whichever way you want to describe him, her, it, the essence, however you want to put it. I'm going to respect everybody. But back to the point, how did it become so dangerous? When you look at, I can only speak about the major cities in America, but I'm going to take it there. It was this period called the Reconstruction, 12 years after the Emancipation. The Emancipation is after the Civil War ended. It was a 12-year period in which we strolled, we put ourselves together, put our nose to the grindstone, and then a system was enacted to destroy us. You doubt it? Oh, that was a long time ago. For one, I'm gonna need you to stop immediately saying it was a long time ago. I personally have had conversation with people or a person who was enslaved. I have a cousin named Viatra. He's 80 years old. He's had conversations with people who were enslaved. So it wasn't a long time ago. If the country will make 250 years on the 4th of July, really the 8th of August, but y'all didn't even look that up. You got the damn thing in your hand, tool or toy, look it up, the 8th of August. But we're going to go with the 4th of July because that's what they told us 250 years ago. So how could something 160 years ago, when only 250 years ago, be a long time ago? Understand that. Understand that if you're of a certain age, 45 to 55, that means your parents probably 65 to 75. And that means you go 65 to 75 years ago. All of a sudden, 150 years don't seem that long, does it? That means my mama's mama was in concert with an enslaved person. My mother's grandfather was definitely in concert. And I met my mother's grandfather. And I met my mother's mother. Therefore, it wasn't a long time ago. But allow me to return to the point. The reason the hood is identified, how did the hood become dangerous or identified as dangerous? Because when you're dealing with people who are built on hate, deception, destruction, oppression, colonization, what they do is create a narrative in which they will look better than they are supposed to. Because when they look better, then they can do what they want to do to you. If you doubt it, all you have to do is turn on your TV, look at Wisconsin, Minnesota, and look at all these places that ICE are apprehending and abducting people, and nobody's saying anything. And you are foolish enough to say they're American citizens. So hold it. It's okay to treat another human being like an animal because of a fake line that somebody came over here and dominated, colonized, and destroyed people and took land. So it's okay for them to do it, but not okay to do it to you. Foolhardy individuals is what I will call you. But what I want you to understand is the hood became dangerous when the Black Knights, the Ku Klux Klan, the skinheads, and other white nationalist groups start attacking people. Wilmington, North Carolina. Wilmington, North Carolina. It was said by white nationalists when Black people, 5 years after enslavement, became mayors, state representatives, governors, and senators, state senators, and they say, hey, if you don't come out of those offices, we'll choke the river with your blood and bodies. And then you got Peoria, Illinois. Then you got Africatown, Illinois. Africatown, Alabama. And then you got Santa Clara, California. And you got Boston, Massachusetts. You got all over this country where you have people in instances where people got together, mobbed up, and attempted to destroy us. And if you don't understand that, what I want you to understand is this. This is what I really want you to understand. How the hood got so dangerous? Then you have to do this. Corporate America made the hood, made it okay for the hood to be dangerous. You got America and you got corporations. Oh, wow, rap. How could you say that? How could you blame corporate America? Because the money is behind everything. The money pushes everything. See, when you're dealing with the money, you're dealing with everything. And that's when you have this situation right here, left for us to fend for in places like Baltimore. That's a picture of Baltimore. You see Chicago, you see Los Angeles. But it's one thing. This is why I blame corporate America. This is why I blame the people in government. Because in 1960, there was a thriving community on the west side of Chicago, the 1519 Club, owned by the dude who played the champ at Harlem Nights' father. You had nightclubs all over the west side. You had black business all over the west side. You had black ownership all over the west side. And what did they do? Same thing they did in Los Angeles. 405 freeway, 95 South, and Miami, Florida. You got Little Haiti. You got other black communities down there with Bohemian people and traditional foundational black Americans down there. And they put that interstate there and they separated it and they used eminent domain. And you did it right here on Chicago, Illinois. They call it Lakeshore Drive. Now they call it John DuSable Baptiste Drive. And from 31st Street on into the 70s, it was black-owned homes, and it's still black-owned over there. And they had those people get up, and they lose generational wealth. Why is land so important? Because God ain't making no more. God ain't making no more land. So if God ain't making no more land and you own it, it is only going to appreciate, not depreciate, but they trick you into cars and clothes and belts and watches and things of that nature and phones. I'm victim. Capitalism again. And they tricked you into doing that, and they took your land and things that will appreciate, and that phone ain't going to be worth 1,000 cookies in 3 years. This is what I want you to understand. That's why the hood is dangerous. That's why it was designated as dangerous. That's how it became dangerous, because we took all the wealth away from you, put you in dire straits. And when you're in dire straits, what happens? Your mind changes. When your mind changes, your mentality changes. Then you don't produce as much dopamine. Understand, your body is a complete drugstore. Dopamine bringing you energy. You can produce it in your body. That's why they give you substances, controlled substances to control you. This substance will control you. But people don't talk to you about those things. They just talk about the dangers in the hood, the dangers in the hood. Is the hood dangerous? That's what I want to know. And how this is how it became dangerous. This is how it became dangerous. And then I'm going to ask the question, is it dangerous or is it underserved? See, if you're going to tell me this is home of the free, land of the brave, and and the contract that we signed with the United States called the Constitution says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How is it that my schools are underfunded, my after school programs are underfunded? I'm not given or getting the same opportunities that you want me to live and strive and prevail and add to and enhance. It's impossible. What I'm doing is living to the weekend. I'm surviving. I'm doping myself down with marijuana and other substances and alcohol and things of that nature. I'm over-indexing and chasing women and men. I'm chasing this feeling, this bag that everybody keeps telling me about, because it's about the bag. And then that's when you get this, the dangerous hood. Because then things are left in destitute. And then we have plots against us. And people go, oh, those plots, you got to get past that. Why in the entire hell? How is it that we live in a country that promotes mental health? We promote the respect. We promote the respect of each and every individual, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But you're going to do 400 years of tyranny. You're going to reign 400 years of detrimental tyranny on me and tell me, get over it, man. You'll be okay. No, I'm not going to be okay. Because it's not about me being okay in the United States of America. When I'm a black person, it ain't about me being okay. It ain't never about me being okay. But you are foolhardy enough to believe things. I got one of my good friends and one of my homeboys arguing online about an individual who's supposed to be a racist. He's not a racist. Well, you know what? If I start quacking and if I try to fly and I sit on the top of water and pedal real fast across the top of the water, I might be a duck, but everything I do is duck like. I'm a damn duck. Oh, you can't Well, you never know. I know because I have been watching this my entire life. But we have people who are, oh, well, the people in the hood are this and people in the hood are that. Hey, your dumbass is one of the people in the hood. Because the last time I checked, your dumbass live in the hood. Your dumbass is not living on top of the world. You're not making $350,000, $400,000 a year. Because I know you. But you think that because you haven't participated in nefarious activities, that you have been not been incarcerated for anything you've ever done. That just means you ain't get caught. That ain't mean you ain't do it. I ain't never been caught doing a lot of stuff that I've done, but I'm not gonna look down my nose and be and objectify people who have participated and had the displeasure of being apprehended and put in one of these homes as a restitution. No, I'm not better than you. I had that opportunity in you. I had that better parenting than you. I feared my parents more than you feared yours. That's all it is. See, the difference in winning and losing is not the penalty of winning and losing. The difference in winning and losing is in this country is the opportunities you're presented with. And when those people that are on the screen, the people who run that flag up and the people who are in those buildings don't give you opportunity, a lot of people will resort to the worst case scenario because there's a lack of foundation. There's a lack of history being taught. There's a lack of history being shared for whatever reason. My elders and my brothers and sisters, nieces, nephews, cousins refuse to ask simple questions like, Grandma, how did you meet Granddad? Ma, how did you meet Dad? Those things create questions that create foundations that you can build upon. You need to understand, whereas I'm a person who respects my dad's last name, but I understand this is not my grandfather's name. I understand that even though my grandfather, George Stanley Williams Sr., was one of the strongest human beings in the history of the world, being on his own, being functionally illiterate from age 9, and got all the way here to Chicago and raised 9 children. Single parent, double parent home and one working individual. I understand that that's not the way it was designed. I understand that he had to be burned out of his town and watch his son, my father, get killed in front of the world, watch his daughter have an aneurysm in church. He had to keep a smile on his face and help raise me. See, but when you don't look into that foundation, you look at my other grandfather, Richard Pollard, Superman. Look at my other grandmother, Dolores Paula Mattie Mae Williams Liggins. See, I know my history, so I have a lot to build upon. But we're not sharing this information. That's why we are not dangerous. We're underserved, and we're underserved. We're underserved by the government, by corporate America, and we're underserved by each other because we're not sharing the pain to show that there is a glory at the end of the pain. We don't understand. You have to ask yourself a question. The question. Why, when you talk about Black history, we talk about Crispus Attucks, then we talk about slaves, then we talk about the civil rights movement. We skipped a whole 100 damn years. You don't talk about the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s. You know why? Because we were doing our own thing. We were becoming millionaires. Not just out of be well. How many of y'all know about Mr. Church here in Memphis, Tennessee, who saved the city, Robert Church? How many of y'all know about O.W. Girl and Robert Church financing? Y'all always talk about Black Wall Street. How many of y'all know about O.W. Girl and Robert Church financing that track? How many of y'all know about that? See, when you know about greatness, you'll ask for and wait for greatness in yourself. But if you don't know about it, all you know about is George Washington Carver, Martin Luther King. You might get a little Malcolm X. You might get, when I was coming, you get a little Bill Cosby, then O.J. Simpson, and that's it. It's more than 12 Black people that done something. Sojourner Truth. It was more people that was doing what Harriet Tubman was doing. There was more people doing that. And then how about this? When you understand the history of this country, you understand the history of your people, then you have to ask these questions. If I've never been anywhere but a plantation, how did I find my way from Baltimore, Maryland to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania? If I've never left a 16, 18-mile radius. I've only been on an acre of land that's what the size of a suburb in most major cities. Belleville, Illinois, 1,142 acres, which is 1.8 miles. That's what the average person And that's what the average plantation for a black person existed. So how did she figure out how to do that? Because it had to be somebody here before us. But are we dangerous? Are we underserved? See, the hood ain't what you think it is, and it's damn sure not what they want it to be. Because let's start talking about something. Instead of talk about the nefarious activity, let's talk about the underserved. How is it that from the hood comes people like Shaka Khan? From the hood come people like Colin Powell. From the hood, people come like Malcolm X. From the hood, people come like me, like my mama, like I got uncles, aunts, cousins. From the hood come people who I got friends who work for the CIA, the FBI, the Department of Defense, all from the hood, 83rd and Loomis. Yeah, right here in Chicago, Illinois. One of the people who used to run the FBI in Europe, the office in Europe, come from Cabrini Green Housing Project right here in Chicago, Illinois, from the hood. See, underserved does not mean underappreciated or underwhelmed, because we got people doing things in our communities that are wonderful. Madam C.J. Walker, exactly. We got people doing wonderful things, but those things are only highlighted in minuscule fractions. And that's why you have people foolish enough to say, oh my God, we're our own worst enemy. How in the hell could we be our own worst enemy when we've lived through raping of our women, children, and men, boys and girls, selling of those same people, the destruction of a family, the creation of a white kryptonite, the creation of a disease, the inflection, the lazy mentality infused into our community, underserving of our academics, and we still become doctors, lawyers, and the taking away of facts that will enhance everything about us. But you won't tell me the hood is a messed up place to be. Let's look at some of the stuff in the hood. Again, everybody loves to harken back to back in the day. Back in the day. Okay, let's talk about back in the day. Back in the day, it was a beautiful situation in the hood. According to y'all told me back in the day, it was great in the hood. Those things haven't changed. But see, what you've allowed yourself, what you know what they would do back in the day, they wouldn't fall subject to social media and television. Because back in the day, it was people sitting on front porches. So children had the ability to play. Back in the day, those women who were sitting on the front porches, they were the vanguard of the community. Because if one of those ladies reached out to one of their children and said one of these younger children were being accosted, or a young lady or a young woman was being accosted, it was men who stood up to that. So don't just tell me about the good times in the hood and the parties. Tell me about the vanguard of the neighborhood. Tell me about how your grandmother never got robbed. Even to this day, how many people you know who grandmothers been robbed? How many grandmothers have been accosted? Is it happening? Of course. And then, like I said, the last thing you saw was underserved or underdeveloped. Because when you're underserved and underdeveloped, you have nefarious activity running rampant. But you're not really trying to feel that. You're not really trying to hear that. You want to go along with what you see on the television. Why the hell do you think you have over 2,800 cable television channels? It's to distract you. See, because now I'm not going to sit on the front porch. I'm going to go in the house and watch TV. It's too dangerous in the hood, but you don't really know a whole lot of people who've been accosted, shot. But guess what? Watch this. Every one of us know the 150 people that's been murdered, 150 unarmed Black Americans who have been murdered by police officers in the last 8 years. That's more than anybody in your hood. That's more than anybody in your hood, but we ain't gonna talk about that, Rap. Rap, why are you bringing that up? See, that's not what we want to talk about, Rap. Because when you have underserved and underdeveloped communities, abject violence is going to happen. This is a perfect example of an underserved and undeveloped community. Mine. I'm not going to talk to you about something I don't know. That's my city right there. Chicago is a perfect example of when you are underserved and underdeveloped, you get abject violence and things go haywire. Guess what? The city of Los Angeles they are at 50-year lows in regards to murder. 50-year lows. Chicago is at a 60-year low in murder. 416. Guess what else? Detroit, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Atlanta, all at lows, all-time lows at 50 and 30-year lows. Chicago is at a 50% reduction in murder since 2021. And guess what? In the hood where we live, 78% of those people were murdered. Oh, but rap, you said it wasn't dangerous in the hood. It's not. It's not. It's underserved and underdeveloped. See, when you don't fund the schools, now, watch this. You had a guy running for mayor against Brandon Johnson. The same Brandon Johnson, I see foolish people online. Oh, he doesn't want people to be called names. He don't need to be worried about that. Yes, he does, dumbass. He don't want those people to be disrespected because they're tuning up for you. That's why they got a place called Cop City in Atlanta, Georgia, training people like those ISIS, training people like those police to shoot your fool behind dead. But back to what I was talking about. It's the perfect example. Chicago has a west side of Chicago, West Garfield, Lawndale, and things of that nature. We call it K-Town. You have another community called Inglewood in Chicago, Garfield. These are where the most murders are. And South Shore, sorry. No disrespect to my people on the east side of Chicago, the South Shore area. That's where most of the murders were committed. 416 murders. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. One person murdered is too many. But when you talk about 416 people being murdered in a city that houses 3 million people, is it really a lot? Don't give me the empathetic bleeding heart fraction of that. Is it a lot when you talk about 3 million versus 416? The sad part is 320 of those people look like me. Right, but you told me it wasn't dangerous in the hood. It's not. It's not, because we make up 30% of the population, the largest population in the city of Chicago, and 324 of us, even if it's 800,000 versus 324. One is too many, but is it a lie? Then you have to ask, why are people dying in the hood? Why is there violence in the hood? Because they could shut down 200 schools. Most of those schools are in the hood. What do schools have to do with violence, right? If you don't go to school, you don't have no hope. If you don't have no hope, you just survive. You survive, you potentially will do anything and everything to make sure you will see tomorrow. You ain't living, you surviving. Schools help you live. Schools help you dream. Books help you dream. Teachers who are engaging and enhancing and uplifting help you see tomorrow, help you see March, help you see February of 27. See, when I think about these things, I had teachers that were that influential. We had a academic Olympics in my elementary school. We had a tasting day where they brought all foods from all cultures to the school and had us taste those foods because they wanted us to experience new things. I was about to go to my neighborhood high school, one of the best high schools in the United States of America. But I bought into what a teacher, an influential teacher, Ethel Adams, salute to her, said. You're going to meet new people, have new experiences. You may not even know the people that you hang with today. I bought into it. She sold me some hope. But if you close 200 schools and most of them in the hood, what are those people thinking about? The bag, because they're not outside. They're not experiencing, they're not engaging, they're not uplifting and seeing. They're watching television, fiction, television, televised lies that you can see. But you're not really looking at that. Oh, you got to get past that. That's on your parents. No, your parents didn't raise you. The people next door didn't raise you. The people upstairs, downstairs, to the left and the right raised you. Your friends helped raise you. Your parents gave you the blueprint. Everybody else helped raise you. But if you don't want to believe, you can. Even if they bought you the worst thing possible, you say, "Whoa!" The blueprint made you say, "Whoa, not that." They gave you the blueprint. You were raised by the community. It takes a village, remember? You can't say nothing to these kids. You're damn right you can't say nothing to these kids. You know why? Because you started talking to him when he was 16. Why you ain't talk to him when he was 6? Why you ain't show no love when he was 6? Don't wait 10 years and say, "Hey, I knew you were going to be," because what we do is find ourselves seeing nothing. These young people, they're no good, and we do a lot of finger wagging and not embracing, uplifting, and engaging. See, that's why Chicago is the perfect example. Why is it the perfect example? Because people have the United States federal government, the county of Cook, And the city of Chicago have not invested heavily in the west and south sides of Chicago since 1968 in the race riots. And then you're dumb enough as a black person to buy into it. See, it's you. No, it's us. Because guess what? They get rid of my nefarious gang banging, drug dealing behind. They coming for you, cuz. Yeah. Just because you're tall and you're nice looking and you drive a very fancy car, you still an N-word in that car, and they don't care because they need somebody to accost you next. Because you ain't supposed to have that car. But you don't want to believe that because you made it, right? Because you studied. You got the same degree that I have. You're not better than me. You're not smarter than me, man. On my worst day is better than your best years, chump. And I'm talking to somebody particularly who be online saying all this cool behavior and it won't be challenged. I bet you won't tag me into nothing. And yeah, I'm out here like that, man. Because what we have to do is start embracing the goodness of our community, understanding why it is bad, and then you engage. See, don't quote Malcolm X to me. Don't quote Marcus Garvey to me. Don't quote James Baldwin to me. Don't quote W.B. Du Bois to me if you don't have that spirit and that cool behavior that you're participating in. And you're supposed to be an elder and you judging the people who you left in stewardship of. You worse than a nationalist, cuz. Yes, indeed you are. But we're not going to worry about those people because we got people who are engaging, enhancing, uplifting, and participating in the best that we have to offer. So I ain't really worried about nobody who's trying to switch to the other side because they think the other side, ice is colder, the water's cleaner, the sky's bluer. And over here with the po folk, we ain't on nothing. It's good, man. I'm glad you over there. I need you to stay over there. I need you to stay over there because when it break bad, and it will, and then we start to rise again, and we will. Just understand, you're not welcome, and we need not. Oh man, God say forgive. Well, that's why my name ain't God. Because if you sell me out once for the system, you'll do it again. Create your own world over there, and we'll do it over here. See, we have to embrace everybody in this community, what they're doing. Bad, good, bad, or indifferent. Because if you're doing bad, you need us. If you're indifferent, you need us even more. And if you're doing good, we need you. See, it's easy to leave the west side of Chicago, leave Inglewood, leave wherever, leave South Shore. Because, see, man, it's dangerous over here. But the last time I checked, you are light. You are a shining light. My pastor, he got this song, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Jesus gave it to me, I'm going to let it shine. If that's true, if you are light, why don't you stay in the community? And then you call the boppers and you make them do their job, not to destroy an individual, but to slow down nefarious activities. And then you step in and you engage. Because it ain't about the destruction. It's about the uplifting, improvement, and advancing. See, we can be angry at the person who's doing nefarious activities or try to figure out why you participate in said activities. And when you find out why you participate in those activities, we can shut it down and we can move forward. Or we can just sit around and judge each other and continue to struggle. And then watch people engage with us and watch people judge us and watch people mistreat us. And then when y'all know our turn coming, don't think they're going to stop with our Latino brothers and sisters. Don't think they're going to stop with them Somali African brothers and sisters from Somalia. Don't think they're going to stop that. That's practice. You know who the target is. Target been the same target since 1863. They still mad that they let that 500,000 black people rush the line, get guns, come back and bump them. They still mad about that. They still mad. If you don't think it, you crazy. What the hell you think redlining is for? Why you think the Klan was created? Why you think white nationalists come into effect? Why you think this goofball, Captain Stupid Ass, is in the seat now? Because people who are good people, who are not looking like us, are in the minority. That's the minority in America. You got to be outside your mind. If you thought people outnumber people on plantations 400 to 1, and all of a sudden it's only 13% of us, that's because we identify as this and they identify as that. But they don't identify as one thing. We identify as black. But you should stop calling yourself black, because you should be affiliate yourself with a landmass. When you affiliate yourself with a landmass like me, I did Ancestry.com, 33% Nigerian. I'm 9% non-African. So I should identify myself with a land, which would make it Afro or African American. But you identify as if you're in a box of crayons. They don't, because in close quarters, my man James Devine, I'm German Irish. My man Pat Friend, I'm Irish and I'm a mutt. My man Bob Lawson, I'm a mutt, but mostly Irish. I got Michael Flink. I forgot what Flink said he was, but they identify. And you know what they used to consistently say on a regular basis to me? Oh no, man, that's white people-ish. What? Ain't y'all all white? No, I'm not white. See, when you identify, when you play in the game in this box of crayons, you are setting yourself up to fail. And when you set yourself up to fail in a game that is already rigged, you will never be able to participate in the game. You just lose the game. You will lose the game at all times. That's why you don't have to play the game. You have to participate in the activities that are put there, which is engaging the community-wise, registering to vote. Then you register to vote. Then you get the person who you need in office. Once you get the person you need in office, that's, understand, in a couple of weeks, we're going to vote for Governor Illinois. Pritzker in the building. Yep. My man BJ, Brandon Johnson, he got my vote. Why? Because I will make phone call after phone call after phone call after phone. How many of y'all drive past potholes every day? Oh man, these streets messed up. You'll never go complain. See, because you think voting is the thing to do. Voting is the last. It's the first thing you do. Look at the electoral process, like building a house. The first thing you do is you show up. Then you read the blueprint, and then you get to work. You show up by voting. The blueprint is, what does my community need? Then you start complaining. That's why I always tell y'all, get the 5 calls apps. You can call Brandon Johnson. You can call JB Pritzker. You can call your state rep. You can call your alderman, and you can call your state or U.S. senator and complain. And if you're uncomfortable complaining to them directly, oh man, they educated. I don't know. Call at 5 p.m. They all got the same phone number on the 5 calls apps, and just come. Hey, I'm Brian Williams. I live on the west side of Chicago. I live in this area. I'm tired of this big old pothole in the middle of my street. Goodbye. If you want to keep your job and you want us, I voted for you, and you keep complaining. See, you hear a lot of people, man, that voter stuff don't work. So wait a minute. As I told you earlier in the conversation, stop quoting Malcolm X to me if you ain't gonna follow the words of Malcolm X. Because the last time I checked, I mean, I ain't the smartest guy in the world, but my brother Mr. Malcolm said the ballot of the bullet. And a lot of y'all ain't gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight. So y'all better go to the ballot and start complaining. Obama didn't do for us. JB didn't do for us. Stop with the distractions and the tomfoolery. They didn't do for you because you ain't asked for. But you're mad about the Bears losing their stadium. Newsflash, my Illinois supporters, the Bears ain't going nowhere. The Bears just put $100 million building in North Lake, Illinois. You think they can walk away from it? Come on, y'all, knock it off. This are the billionaires trying to make you be distracted because these dudes are doing good things. Anytime the violence in Chicago is down 60% since BJ got in there, 60% last year. 60%. Now, we got it down 60%. Now we need to remove 73% of those people from being us. See, if you don't know what the problem is, then you can't ask for a solution. Obama did never do nothing for black people. Obama never did anything for black people. Who suffers from diabetes the most in America? Black people. Who suffers from heart disease? Black people. Cervical cancer? Black women. Prostate cancer? Black men. Heart disease? Black men. Wow. And then you made healthcare free or very inexpensive. So who does that benefit? But he ain't never do nothing. He ain't never do nothing. But see, did you know 200 schools in this city were shut down, mostly in black communities, by the dude who you almost made mayor? Did you know that? You got people out of town telling me what's going on in my town. You ain't lived in my town in 40 years, 30 years, man. So I don't want to hear this. See, unless you have a game plan, don't open your mouth. Load up your brain before you shoot off your mouth. And if anybody think I'm talking to them, I am. Yes, I am. Challenge me if you like. I will blow you away on that Facebook thing. I'm coming. I'm acting a complete ass on that issue. Challenge me if you like. See, because I'm pro-black don't mean I'm pro-peace. I will act a fool. I will act a fool, and I'm going to call you out, and I'm going to call you negative names because you challenged me. You challenged me without loading up your brain. So if you want to come there, I'm going to go there. But I'm here to, as I state at the top of every show, I'm here to enhance the lives of my grandchildren's great-grandchildren. I want to make life for my grandchildren's great-grandchildren better. I don't even have any grandchildren yet. And I'm thinking about my grandchildren's great-grandchildren. And if we don't start thinking about that, we are going to continue to suffer. All we have to do is buy in. Buy in, brothers and sisters. Buy in. If you don't buy in, you're going to fall for the okie doke. You are going to fall for what we call in the hood the okie doke. And if you want to fall for the okie doke, that's cool with you, man. I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you. Because we're not dangerous. We're underserved. And if we're underserved, we need to engage and get involved. We get involved, we get into it. We'll return to the greatness of the 30s, 40s, and 50s, where people like Rube Foster created Negroes and let it flourish. When they created the Harlem Globetrotters on Harlem Street here in Chicago, not Harlem, New York. When you had several millionaires in Philadelphia owning restaurants, dry cleaners, inventing things like the elevator, the escalator, the fire escape, the gas mask. See, these things were happening in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and were putting us in positions to win. And if you don't know that, then that's part of the problem. We have strength in our unity. We're not dangerous. We're underserved. And if you stop buying in and believing that foolishness that you're being told to on a regular basis, then and only then you'll be able to get out the foolishness. But with that being said, it's time for me to end this, John, because it's 8 o'clock. And I've been running my mouth for 58 minutes. But just keep in mind, man, it's not dangerous in the hood. It's dangerous in America. We don't have the patent on violence. We are not shooting up schools. We're not shooting up nightclubs. We're not attacking people in the LGBTQ community. We're not attacking the people in the Latino community. Do we have violence in our own community? Chicago is the perfect example of a lack of investment or underserving and things not happening. Because if you live in Chicago, there's a very good chance that you've never been in class with a non-black person. So who else would you have disagreements, arguments, and infractions with? Black people. So, it's black on black crime. Well, if that's the case, why is the crime rate, the murder rate in LA gone down? It's black people over there, and they not hurting each other because they're mixed in. It's black people in New York, and the crime rate is down now. Same thing. It's 98 people in Baltimore because, see, when you herd people into certain areas, redlining, that's what it's called, and you put people in situations that they can't breathe, and then guess what's going to happen? They are going to suffer, and they are going to act against each other. And here's the great part. I'm going to close it out with this. Chicago, Illinois has some of the largest housing projects in the history of the world. It was more people in the statewide garden housing community than in the state of Rhode Island. They have a gang registry here in Chicago. If you're in this certain area, they put you in the gang registry. They identify you as a gang member. So when they knock down those housing facilities from 59th Street to 21st Street, Ivy Wells, Stateway Guard, the bungalows and things of that nature on the low end, Inglewood. What they did was disperse those people all over the city. Rockwell Guard, the Henry Horner Projects, Cabrini Green, and they put them in rival gang communities. So of course, their violence spiked. Those things are starting to subside. That's why we're at an all-time low. And now it's time to have Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson start taking funds and entering initiatives to reopen these schools and opening after-school programs so our children can see the future, have hope, excel, prevail, and live up to the best things they can live up to. But we're not going to have that if you don't engage. If you want to sit around and complain and piss and moan to your friends, have at it. Have at it. Or what you can do is tap in there. We will rap, hit that like, hit that share, subscribe if you hadn't. Tell a friend to tap in, engage. Leave a comment, man. 2 fingers, 1 word. I'm HRap, and